it all.
The comeback. Let's go.
Well played.
A tough fought match between the two players, but Spooder makes the win, progresses to the next round. Very, very close on the edge. Anything can happen in the Mundo Ball Madness. The next game that you can look forward to, though, so make sure you stay tuned, is going to be Indecision versus Wendell.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Veteran still pointing at the camera, connecting with the audience straight off the bat. I do like it. We are about to head into our third game of the day here on the NLC Division 1. It is Vanir going up against Fourth Wall. We were all a bit worried, having predicted Vanir to win, seeing the Aphelios nerves, but having now seen Blank play Aphelios, I think we'd all be comfortable enough in saying Liam Cole can just lock it in again.
Yeah, 100%. Liam Cole on a comfort champion. His team with Liam Cole and champion there to play around. Every single one of their wins has been with that Aphelios. Every one of their losses has been without the Aphelios. It's a pattern. And you know what? This nerf just means maybe we won't see it banned unless these guys have watched the previous game. But short of that, maybe they'll actually get Liam Cole on that Aphelios and they can actually get a win.
Yeah, but teams are arrogant, aren't they? They'll see that last game and be like, Aphelios is still bad, you know, they're just Unique played it bad as well, and you know, that's how that'll go. So I want to see him still slap it down, actually. I think it'll be curious to see. I want a larger sample size of the strength of Aphelios.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely did look good in the game we did just see. Just to remind you, there was Domino ending their loss streak, getting a win against Unique, who are now bottom of the standings with a 6-game loss streak. For Fourth Wall, there's a massive game as well to keep themselves in that playoff race. Lose here and you'll be down with Unique at the bottom. Not a position you want to find yourself in. Win here, you tie yourself up with Vanir, and you're both just behind the chasing peg of Domino for that final playoff spot. So really, really crucial there for both of these teams, because if Vanir win, they then move up to 4 and 5, which might potentially be enough to be shared fourth place, depending on the results of the last game of the day.
Yes, you're correct.
I agree with everything Duckling just said. I have nothing else to add.
Natives versus Nord will be the next game of the day, and for some more context there, and obviously Natives have been doing pretty well, but Nord are kind of floundering so far. I don't know, floundering compared to expectations of being one of the better teams in the league. They're only 4 and 4 right now, sitting on a pretty even 50-50. So yeah, one of those teams that again is contesting for that last playoff spot, and Vanir can be right up there if they win.
I was going to say, 4th is where we had them on the official NLC tier list. So actually, they're performing exactly
how we thought. I'm guessing compared to their previous split where they were like absolutely banging last split, but yeah.
To me as well, for Nord, it's, you know, that level. It's very up and down. It's a bit like a roller coaster. Some games they look really good, other games they look shaky. It's really hard to read the strength of this team, because the first couple days they were really bad, then they were really good, then they were bad again, now they're good again. Like what Nord are we actually seeing? The lack of consistency is what's worrying me about their roster. Whereas someone like Vanir, I would say, has been a bit more consistently just okay. They now have the chance to catch up to Nord potentially. As I said, depending on the last result. We will have the draft ready shortly, but I can see Veteran, you have something to add.
Yeah, I mean, we want to talk about inconsistency. 4-4 have completely changed up, right? But their new mid laner has been absolutely phenomenal. They almost beat Verdant last week, right? They were extremely close to doing so. We actually thought they had the win. They were the first team with a brain to be like, why don't we actually just kill Taxa before the Baron, you know? And actually, therefore, claim the Baron for themselves, right? So your man in the mid lane there, he currently on Nico and Lissandra, we know that he looks really good. If it's a champion with a lot of agency, a lot of AoE, a lot of engage, he's the man that starts these fights and ends these fights at the same time. And if he can do a similar thing here, then they could run away with the game from mid, while Vanir is trying to run away with the game from bot lane. And that's how I see this particular matchup going today.
So that'd be curious, because generally speaking, the meta is more focused towards the bot side. So you would maybe put a bit of emphasis or favouring Vanir on that one. We even saw from the previous interview there with Shackle, he said the same thing, right? If your bot lane gets ahead, you'll probably win. So that's why he's opting more towards those team fight and team playing orientated junglers, like he went on the Wukong in that last game. So yeah, curious to see if Vanir follows the footsteps of the meta and it being that kind of bot side focus and that being the superior strategy for League of Legends currently, and if so, how do they decide to pilot that? You know, is it going to be the old faithful trusted Aphelios despite his nerfs? Will that even be left open again despite the nerfs? There's a lot of questions around the draft here with this new patch coming through.
And just to kind of add to this, well, we have to remember fourth wall is swapping Molto back in. Faye is out again, so well, they've had that strong performance with Faye top lane. They are now back to Molto. So do we feel like this have an impact, Veteran? How are you feeling about this roster change? Does this positively or negatively impact their fourth wall?
Faye has looked like a low-key uncomfortable on 4-4, I should say. Right? He hasn't been one of their big strengths. Molto did come in with a lot of hype, mostly from you guys on the cast. I haven't really watched too much of this guy before he came in. So I do think it's overall good, so long as they don't lose their identity that has been working for them right now of basically going on Gen Race 5. Right? If they're able to play to that, then I think they'll win. I also don't think necessarily like Jinwei being such a big part of their wins means that they're not still playing for their AD carry to get ahead. I think they are. It's just that the way that happens is more through Jinwei setting up really good skirmishes, right, that the AD carry can capitalize on, rather than anything else. So I think they're down with the meta in that way. But the meta's changed, right? Aphelios, potentially not that big a deal anymore. What am I saying? I mean, I know from the last game that everything is completely the same. Everything is completely the same. Nothing changes. Everything is the wire, and we are all McNulty sat in the car at the end staring at Baltimore, which is the NLC for this.
I do want to say though, looking towards the mid lane, you just mentioned Jinrei taking it over to Harpo. I'm very intrigued by Harpo. Normally when I saw him back in the Danish scene locally, before he got this...
Oh yeah, you loved him.
He was the big carry. He was the main carry. But this split, he's shown a lot of versatility. Played, I think, 7 champs in 8 games. He's played some tank as well. He's played the Sion, the Malphite, the Cassante. He's played the damage. He's been able to be very flexible. And I'm excited to see if that trend continues and how that will play out for him. Or if he will go back to the more stock standard. I'm Harpo, I'm the main carry. But I think as long as Liam Cole is comfortable getting the resources on the Aphelios, Harpo is happy to take the step back and say, I can play whatever the team really needs.
If you on fourth wall camps mid, would you say that he's visiting Harbour Hotel?
Oh, that's an old joke. That's an old joke. I remember playing Harbour Hotel when I grew up. I was too young to play it.
You
then,
look
so
too young.
I had to lie about my age, of course. As everyone does.
Criminal. You're hearing this. We're going to get the popo on you. Danish, please kick the do. Open
FBI,
up.
No, I mean, let's see if I'll be here for the fourth game then, if they've arrested me since. Regardless, though,
If you've disappeared, you know why.
has begun. The Rail, the Ivern, and the Maokai has been taken off the table by fourth wall. Vanir looking to ban out the Sire, so no more Sire Khan for this game. Regardless, though, Poppy also taken off the table before they look to round out their bans with any ideas, Veteran?
Yeah, I mean, 4-4 with both the Ivan and Rel bans, I know what Pippi Bat's OPGG looks like here, and they pick away Liam Cole's Aphelios. Yeah, the Xayah is down, the Milio is down, the classic, the best thing to do, even if you're, like, extra kick into Noah, is to just slam the Milio plus the Jinx, but you're not getting that. It's the other Arcane Champion, the nerfed Arcane Champion, Vi, is currently being hovered. A dive composition into an Aphelios, not typically what you want to be doing, as we saw last game how effective Aphelios can be in those dive situations, but that seems to be what Vanir is committing to, and honestly, maybe Witter was right.
Two nerfed champions already again, 13-13, seemingly not having too much of an impact on the current meta, the current state of things. As it's being hovered, the Tristana, we'll see if it actually gets locked down. Pretty good all-in ADC. If it's picked in that bot side, it can be that flex as well if you want to bait fourth or into a one of those matchups in mid where Tristana can dominate. You like that though, you like the Tristana veteran. I want to hear more about why.
Because Tristana can be a really good ranged match. Yes, it has a lot of all-in potential, but on later levels, it's a very strong ranged match into both Aphelios and Jinx. It's one of the few things that can work as part of an anti-Jinx composition. Vitality of Perks love to do that a lot last split before they, just lost every single game. that Tristana is going to be their tool to have some threat on anything but a green gun Aphelios. So long as they can be patient and play back with their Tristana, they should be good. The Braum is obviously done, because if Vanir aren't patient and they just slam the W on Triss, slam the R on Vi, and just try to dive this Aphelios, it's all very doomed. Fourth wall are operating as if Vanir are gonna go all engage, all dive, but Vanir have the ability to just go maximal range here, play the fights out slow, and then engage when all the cooldowns are down, and just end the fight.
And with that, Vanir looking to round out potentially the bot lane. Obviously, the Tristana is still a flex pick and can definitely be played by Harper with the flexibility he has shown. The support though looks to be locked in, and it is the Thresh in the end. Veteran, you're very unhappy about that. Can you add some words maybe to why you're not pleased?
Braum extremely difficult to play into Enchanter Champions. Enchanter Champions fit the theme of a composition that's looking to kite back and just play heavy range. The Thresh, though, makes it look more like you want to split them and skirmish, similar to compositions we've seen earlier today. But as we know, that isn't typically what ends up happening, right? So there are now more opportunities for Vanir to choose to play into 4-4 strengths rather than away, whereas the Lulu would definitely signal that they're looking to play away from 4-4 strength.
Yeah, I think with some kind of upside, Vi and Thresh pair really well together. They both seem to want to do similar things in that mid game if you're moving them around as well. Like the catch potential with those two is absolutely nutty and disgusting. But I also agree, like it doesn't really seem to make a huge amount of sense as far as like the bot lane matchup goes and the general theme of this draft so far from Vanir. But Garfield obviously very confident on that Thresh, is going to slap that one down, and instead it's going to be a Syndra ban here from fourth wall, which I think is a bit interesting because you see Tristana and like the chances of Tristana being mid are very high, unless I'm kind of missing something here, like. And there's something I'm not too familiar with this Tristana. Like she's kind of fallen out of favor as a bot laner in professional play. Like you don't see her a lot down bot side. She's much more about getting control in that mid lane and yeah, getting that prio and working around that way with the range as she gets levels, as you mentioned. They're veteran, but maybe there's something. Bot. It's going to be Tristana bot instead. So yeah, jumping into that Aphelios is that Tristana with all that all-in potential. They've kind of changed the shape of this draft here. It looks a lot more aggressive towards the bot side of the map now.
But what I'm wondering here, when you have Vanir, right? You had the last pick. You could have waited with the mid lane pick until you could see what matchup you're going up against. Now you have the counter pick for the top lane, obviously available instead. But is that really a worthwhile trade-off? Jinrace could be going towards the Sandra, which he has had success on. This is a very confusing draft. I'm in particularly floored by Vanir's plan, but I do believe they have something up their sleeve to play against this Aphelios, because obviously they either ban it or take it away. And I guess this is something they've practiced. The Tristana, Thresh maybe going ultra aggressive, trying to snowball. Regardless, I want to see what happens. Confused. As the Xin Zhao is the last pick here for fourth wall.
Perfect. Alright, so the composition for fourth wall is extremely obvious now wants to play out. You have all of the makings of getting those resets out on the Lissandra and just snowballing a game that would be really effective for the Aphelios. You have the displacement, you have the lockdown, you have the burst, very simple teamfight comp. You're going to win almost every teamfight with that. On Vanir, I'm not entirely sure what it is they want to do. So Victor does make it seem like you're intending to just outrange the Aphelios with the Tristana and play that way, with Thresh for safety on your low mobility lanes, but you also have this stat checking Darius, right? And Darius can act as a juggernaut, just put himself between you and the opponents. But your opponents aren't necessarily intending to dive, but what you're looking at on Vanir here is a lot of range, play fight slow, don't go full monkey mode and just run at them, because you obviously cannot win a fight like that. But crucially, if 4-4 ever get a single flank off, that's displacement, it's lockdown, suddenly the fight is 4v5, 3v5, and 4-4 will win. Ease of execution is definitely on 4-4's side, even if technically Vanir do have all of the tools to win this game.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one right from the get-go as well. Like Xin Zhao always throws that extra spice into the early game as a jungler because he is such an aggressive champion. And then when you look at the lane setup that he's got, across the map for aggressive plays. Not only does he have a good matchup into Vi if he finds her, like he's totally okay with that, but the Lissandra lockdown, the Braum lockdown as well, Gragas body slam, he can really, realistically speaking, go wherever he wants to go on the map here. And fourth wall to have a lot of agency from that jungle position to just go absolutely crazy right from the get-go here. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Xin kind of playing, I don't want to say selfishly, but like you get a little bit of snowball on the Xin himself, and then suddenly you can't contest anything if you're Vanir's side, and that can really be a big snowball for fourth wall. So a lot of pressure on that early game for that Xin, and looking at the lanes that he can look to go and gank.
And I'm still looking at the Vanir draft here, trying to figure out exactly where they want to play, right? Because locking the Darius, you obviously open up a whole new avenue of trying to snowball early on, but with the Tristana, you said it's been falling out of favor as the bot lane in the pro play, and I understand why, because to me it doesn't seem the strongest either. I would have hoped for it to be Harpo in the mid lane. Do you play towards Tristana, trying to snowball her early? Like, how do you use your resource? Because as you guys said, the ease of execution is on fourth wall, so Vanir are the ones to have to pull a rabbit out of the hat here and outplay somewhere, somehow.
But where is Aphelios weakest, right? It's level 1, level 2, and Braum, whereas he's a very strong level 1 champion in terms of invades, level 1, level 2, he's not necessarily going to be this hardcore counter to a Tristana all-in. Tristana incredibly spikes on level 2, so there is a really good opportunity there for them to just play an all-in on Tristana early. I do ultimately think the point of the composition is to play for pressure points on top, and just have these two ridiculously strong wave clearers that also outscale you in terms of range and in terms of damage, just get to those points in the game and play these fights out slow, right? Yeah, you have a Tristana, yeah, you have a Vi, yeah, you can all in, but, if we don't have that neuron activation, they should win out on these fights. It's a big if, right? Better players than these guys have that neuron activation frequently and just go balls to the wall, and they're like, what? I can't just dive the Lissandra, Zinzao, Gragas, Braum, Aphelios composition? No way! Our draft was clearly just worse.
Yeah, there's so much going on from fourth wall side as well. Like, that's something to bear in mind, like there's just so much like zone control in these team fights, whether if think about it from the perspective of danger zones, like the floor is lava type thing, right? Just areas you do not want to walk into, areas you do not want to be caught dead in. There's a lot of those with like Braum ultis and like Lissandra ulti, and Lissandra's her control in general, and like Zinzao as well will be knocking people back, and Gragas with his barrels and stuff. Like, it's just going to be a minefield you're going to be trying to navigate and dodge. So it can be difficult to find your way around that if you are Vanir. But I also think that playmaking can really be something else too, and something we haven't really mentioned too much, but like that top side, as you mentioned, Duckling, though, when you have that Darius, like there are things you can do there. Veteran called him a stat check, so if that pops off, if that goes crazy, that can be a problem, and that's also another thing that that fourth will have to bear in mind, and might be playing on Yute's mind as well as that Zinzao, to alleviate a little bit of pressure early if he wants to show a bit of love top.
The game has been paused, by the way, if you're wondering why we aren't really in it. I guess something has happened that's due to a pause. I mean, maybe someone's internet has went out. Hopefully, it gets fixed shortly and we're able to get into the game, because I'm excited to see how this plays out. You mentioned the windows that Vanir have early game towards the bot lane. Stat check as well, the top side, fourth wall, should be happy to just scale, play the team fights. They have the ease of execution, right? They're the ones who should be realistically winning the game based on the draft, and as Vito, obviously, you would be very happy with that, being the only one who predicted him to win. Regardless, though, anything else you want to add here to kind of elaborate a little bit more on the draft, lads?
I mean, I actually do feel like if both teams play perfectly, Vanir wins. But again, it's about playing perfectly, and Uncle Victor exists for a reason, right? Yeah. Teams frequently match fix by paying him off for a reason, and he has been paid off this game, right? Uncle Victor has gotten obviously it's Witter, right? Has paid off Uncle Victor successfully. Victor is in the game. It's basically already over the moment that pick was locked in. Statistically speaking, it's a done deal. Alright, congratulations to Fourth Wall. We may as well not even play out this game at this point. Okay, we may as well not. Get that guy up on Twitter. Get the thumbnail done. Alright, good job, Fourth Wall, on another successful win. Good job, Witter, on your prediction. Good use of that NLC money.
So what's so wrong with Victor that you're...
Oh, Are you? Oh wait, are we unaware of Uncle Victor? Uncle
I'm
Victor.
unaware of Uncle Victor. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, Uncle Victor.
This is some NLC lore that needs to be explained
It's
to
not
me
even
right now.
NLC. Uncle Victor is this guy on Twitter who, whenever Victor is picked on the international stage, just pops up and is like, "I am back," right? And then the
Okay.
Victor just loses, right, every time. And the whole idea is Victor is actually one of the most overrated professional picks on the planet, and that in
Gotcha.
fact what's happening is a match fix betting conspiracy piloted by this guy called Uncle Victor on Twitter, who bets on the team that won't pick Victor in the game where Victor is picked, right? And I am invoking Uncle Victor. He's surely got big money down on this NLC match and has set the forces of darkness into the hearts of Vanir.
I see.
To just
So
knock
it's-
Victor.
It was over. It was over from the get-go
Yeah.
for Vanir.
Yes.
And just a big draft gaff right there. Not thinking of Uncle Victor before they slapped it down. They even had a Tristana pick earlier if they wanted to go for a different mid laner. But no, it's going to be Victor, and we'll see if that's if we can buck the Uncle Victor curse in this game. Because Vanir, if we zoom out a tiny bit here, both these teams have been struggling to make much of an impact here in the NLC so far, and if they want to make playoffs, which is rapidly approaching, to be honest, it's not early days anymore. We do have a significant games under our belt now. Obviously, still more to play, so it's not like everything's riding on this game or anything like that. But Vanir, they are on the outside. Ooh, got to try not to break all the T-mugs that are on my desk. Vanir on the outside looking in, fourth wall very much on the outside looking in. They want to try and break away from that last place in the NLC, which is I'm no expert on competitive leagues and stuff, but I don't think finishing last is conducive to success.
No,
It's just my opinion.
It gets you into play.
I can confirm.
Oh, here's a fun fact as well though. Malta goes by many names. The Egyptian king, and Olaf. What is that?
Olaf
Kilmeneter?
Kilmeneter?
These
What
are
does that
names
even
he
mean?
gives to himself,
Kill-
so I don't
Kill-
know.
You
Ask
can
him.
know what
Kilmeneter.
Kilmeneter is. What is that?
What?
Is
That
just
sounds
a-
British to you?
Kilminate. I don't. What's his name? I'm looking up his name right now. Maybe it's a pun on his name, because that is not. I don't know what's going on there. And whoever named him that was just playing the long con to ruin us. His name's Mahmood. No, it's not. Nothing to do with Kilmenator. Like, I don't know. Maybe he likes.
Who calls him these
likes
names?
those aggressive.
I don't know.
names.
Maybe our production does. I don't know who or the team.
He's not. Who calls him that? No one.
He
I
came
just
down
wanted
to dinner
a fun
after a really
fact.
cool game one day, and his mum, I carried on Olaf, and she's like, "Oh, you're the Olaf Minotaur or something." He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh wow, that's my nickname." That's what he does.
Wait,
gonna
is
be
it
my
MENA?
new-
Isn't that a region? Is he in the MENA region? MENA.
Yeah, Middle East and Northern Africa region.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's it. That's MENA. That's it there. Yeah. That's
MENA.
it. Kill MENA.
And then Tor is how you hide your IP, right? So he's the guy that colluded with Uncle Victor in MENA.
Here we go. All roads
Plays
lead
over.
to Uncle
Oh, it's
Victor.
tying together. We have some deep backstory for this game now, guys. This is gonna
My
be very
goodness.
interesting.
Lore is
As,
off the charts.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I don't know how much of the law is true, but regardless, it's a great story we've been building up here. As the game is now unfolding in front of our eyes, as nothing really happening early on. I'm still keeping my eyes on the bot lane though, waiting for the level 2s to tick in, seeing if they fancy an opportunity, but no, with the wave being pushed in so heavily by Vanir, they don't really have the space to go for anything.
Ooh,
Oh,
good hook.
the hook. But the
And,
all-in won't happen.
Yeah, I guess considering the situation, they're so far underneath that turret, you don't really want to be jumping over there and making a ruddy play early on. Ending up
Yeah,
getting
that's-
into this.
Are we calling that a ruddy now?
Ruddy play.
If you just
No, can't do it
absolutely
like
throw
that.
the game on a dive, it's a ruddy.
I mean, they made the mistake once. They're gonna let them off the hook after today.
Okay. They've got to live with their errors, contemplate their sins for the rest of today, and then they'll get a fresh start later on. That is the
you.
downside, though. You saw. No, this is a good path. Go on, you. Let's see what you can do.
Let's see what Harbo can do here, though. He could continue to just try and go forward. I mean, he's
That'd be a
looking for
mistake.
the flash early on. Now
Here comes Vi.
he's fine. That's what?
That is his flash,
He's
though.
burned Flash against the Xin
Yeah.
Zhao and Lissandra. I'm not sure I'm happy with that one. That
No,
sucker's not
you're
going to be up for
definitely not
5
happy.
minutes. And in 2 minutes' time, alright, in 2 minutes' time, level 6 is going to be up on the side of Jinbei. Yes, he has to TP in now, but he'll have both Flash and Ult, and it's going to be one of the easiest dives on the planet. That's why Uncle Victor very truthfully says on his Twitter account that he lives in a mansion off of the bets that he's made from Victor match fixing.
You're
That would
really into the Victor match fixing storyline.
He's so based.
I mean, I did
You would
take a
be
look at his
too.
Twitter when you sent it. It is definitely.
He lives in a
based
mansion,
icon.
why wouldn't I?
Yeah, of course, with his 300 followers.
Yeah.
It's like a very
Each one of
underground
his
account. I'm
followers.
surprised you know him, considering your your level of fame.
Look at the amount of players that like at him though whenever Victor's like he's known. He's known. Just not by the
He's
general
known.
He's a secret. He's the secret. He's the
Damn.
underground secret. That's...
I like the fedora he's put on Victor, but that is kind of stylish.
He had a better Twitter account, but Elon Musk couldn't let the truth come out.
Oh, he
so-
banned it, and let's see if Kamara can get out of the situation. The hook goes wide, so I guess
Oh
Garfield
no.
had a bit of a Monday there with them slip up. Regardless, another
What?
miss. Kamara still alive. Forced to
Did you
use both
see
hooks.
that sidestep?
I mean,
Did you
yeah,
see
that-
Kamara's
That's the
sidestep
Scottish
there?
faker. Scottish faker, my man.
That was Scottish faker. That was actually ridiculous. That's a
insane.
big boy agile
Do
move
we
right
have
there.
replays? Can we get a replay of that?
Genuinely, like a slight a step to avoid that the knock up from Viku. That was actually was like quite a small thing, but blimey, that was mega right there.
was
That's
pretty
big. Yeah,
Blimey,
that was
mate.
pretty cool.
Oh, but that was
They're
actually
both-
fantastic.
Both side lanes though, same basic game plan early. Yes, you had the level 2 threat from the Tristana Fresh that didn't really transpire into a kill, but it did turn into this all-in later on by managing to get the wave in ready early, so they could make this play on vice versa clear. And Darius has the same thing going topside. Gragas, he just had to go because he knew Vi could be reset topside already, and had to lose out on a lot. The TP has already been bird, so Katana's now playing no TPV, no TP, but there's a lot of spent gold on the side of Gragas, so you have to think that's going to be the next forts for Vanir.
I have some bad news for everyone who wanted to watch that incredible play again from the Duke from Kamara. The replay PC crashed when we tried to get the replay from it, so sadly no replay. Instead, you'll be gifted another little fight here as PP Bad goes in. Kamara able to get him away. They will secure the Drake fourth wall on the board in that sense, despite being 300 gold down, a massive gold deficit. Obviously, they were able to play in the first Drake.
Crazy how they managed to do that. Oh, we've got a fight on the bot side of the Krugs though.
Oh yeah, actually they are fighting, but instead
Zin's out.
let's see.
Yeah,
Katano
Zin blew his
with the
flash. He
CSA.
blew his flash and had to run away. So that's really big, bringing the fight to Zinzao. But here comes Jinrei.
Oh, wait, Jinrei is very low actually. He does have the
No!
ultimate available. We'll use it Frozen Tomb.
Oh
And
my
PP Bet is
goodness.
in trouble. First blood for Ragnar. The Ophelia is already getting rolling, and this is a great start for fourth wall.
I thought he fluffed it. I thought he fluffed it right there when he ulted himself instead of the Vi. 'Cause it's like you usually when you engage on the Sandra, you do ult yourself so that you don't get insta twatted when you're, excuse my French, when you jump in. But in that situation, no one was gonna kill him, right? No one was gonna kill him. So you absolutely, yeah, the chances of Vi escaping there were
Oh!
not zero. Good hook.
Now that is a great hook actually. Ragnar could be in trouble. The W forward. The reset is available, but Liam Cole doesn't fancy it, so won't be going for it. But yet again, there's definitely action in this Vanir bot lane.
Yep, even though they got those kills in the jungle, they weren't able to reset and spend that goal, right? You had Darius continuing to farm top, you had Tristana getting a plate on bot, now she's going to try to deny a wave on bot lane as well, and has burned summoners and big cooldowns on the side of Aphelios and Braum. Overall, Vanir do still feel comfortable about that position. That was a great first grouped play from Forfall, but it was defensive, and the lanes were still able to get the economy that they want. Arguably more important economy. You're level 6 now on Liam Cole versus only level 5 over on Ragnar. You could see a big all-in on this summonless Aphelios in the next few minutes.
PP back.
Speaking of all-ins,
Looking for that
Smite.
stun, won't be able to get it. U takes level 6 off of that. Could be interested in the play here. Jinrai's no ultimate, by the way. If Harpo fancied the all-in, didn't have the Chaos Storm available himself though, so the damage not quite there. In the end though, that's just gotten secured for the side of fourth wall. Molto able to body slam his way out to safety against Katano in the top lane as well.
it's such a tough top lane to play when you have to go like AP early,
Oh,
which is, oh my goodness, that is the current meta for Gragas. But I was going to mention as well here, and just that is the perfect example of it happening this game. The CS was kind of equal in mid lane, but Harbo has just been bullying Jinrei's, like constantly chipping him down and getting favorable trades into him. Absolutely ridiculous stuff. And right there, you see Jinrei having to flash away and surviving on a sliver of HP. It does mean, however, that Harbor, I believe in that play, traded Flash to chase down Jinrei. So maybe he's vulnerable to a roam or something along those lines, or another gank from Ute. But I have to say, so far, considering Harbor lost his Flash really early on in this game, he's been playing very confidently. He's still been having a lot of pressure in mid, so I give a lot of credit to Harbo so far from Vanir for how he's played this early game.
I do have a question though. Is this due to Harbo just playing well, being able to still play this aggressive, or has it been Yute's lack of punishing, because he hasn't seemed to re-gank despite knowing the flash cooldown was down?
It's partly on Ute's play, and it's also because Vi tried to play very disruptive into enemy jungle, so a lot of those cooldown timers were instead used on that defensive play.
Let's see what happens here though, with P being down in the bot lane.
Good move.
What happened? How did he miss that regardless though? They find one... I'm so confused. Did you guys see
Well, so first off, I want to say
just
good job
whiffed
by
it.
the Aphelios to go for the white R on there, gave him the maximum amount of chance to play back a kill, and he was successfully able to do so. Tristana did not get back that kill. What she will do is she'll get the wave and she'll still get more XP, and she could potentially get a plate here. The greeting for the plate here might just lead to a plate trade in the long run, so I'm not entirely sure how much I agree with that. But I do think it was well played by the Aphelios. Who missed? I assume Garfield missed.
Yeah, Garfield, with the lockdown from PBBet, with the season assist, Garfield somehow still managed to miss the hook on Ragnar.
Well, for an explanation on that, yeah, I mean, for an explanation on that, I'm going to have to point you to the wise words of Socrates. In historic Greece, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Happens, yo.
Happens.
I believe it was another one of his famous quotes. Yeah.
Happens with Diogenes.
Oh, okay, yeah, I often get those two mixed up.
Yeah.
But it does happen, and it is what it is. But they still get the kill. Trading a 1-for-1's not ideal when you're diving, but also, you know, you do kill Philios with a whole wave of minions under his tower, so it's fine. Like, it's not the end of the world. It still kind of works out.
And as Veteran said, right, you still get the win on the Tristana, being able to push in the wave, deny the minions, get the XP, get the plates. I mean, you're still able to draw massively from this. You can see it in the gold as well, despite being down in kills and neutral objectives. They are up due to the plate gold as well. So far, so good here for Vanir, scaling in the mid lane as well for Harpo, who has gotten his first Hex Core upgrade, with the E now being upgraded. Still no flash though. And with Ute and Molto in the area, he needs to be a bit careful. Second Drake on the map, and it just seems to be a heavy investment actually into it from Fourth Wall. Has Molto been spotted yet? Not now, he has for sure. So he's just gonna walk back into the top lane, I believe.
Well, Dragon's up. Yeah, this is the thing, is like you kind of want to pull the trigger here, right?
Yeah. Right.
And then use your TP to get back to top side. Though you know Katana's not going to be there because he has no teleport. You really have to go for Dragon here, and that's what Fourth Wall gonna do.
Yep.
Yeah, they're doing it here, and it should be pretty free for these
guys. Just give it up, right? The TP instantly coming through. Maybe they want to fight 4v4 now, though. There's still 3,000 HP on the Drake. They know Molto
that's
now
a bad
can join.
TP.
Jinrace is in trouble. He's gonna get taken out instantly. Can't even use. The Frozen Tomb barely comes through. Ragnar flashing into the Chaos Storm, and he's now on the wrong side of the fight.
There you go.
And despite PBBet going down, this looks to be Vanir's fight to win. Liam Cole could still dash forward. I believe the W is still available. There it comes. The rocket jump into another kill. Double kill for him. 2 kills. Drake denied, and the TP simply too early there from Molto.
God, that TP was garbage. That was not good at all. He's roamed all the way down. He's waddled his obese legs down to the bot side of the map just to put some pressure to create that dragon opportunity, and then just TP's out. Like, I guess he thought it was free, right? They had the dragon, that it was a done deal, and he could walk away and it wouldn't be a problem. They didn't need him anymore. But as soon as they see that TP come through top, like, Kitana's calling it like, yo, he's TPing top, he's not there anymore. Gragas isn't there, it's 4v4, and Vanir was certainly happy to take that fight. And gosh, I just don't know what Fourth Wall was really thinking.
Did Molto spot Kitana there? Because Molto's stepping up very heavily to push this wave. Should still be able to dash out the safety, I believe, with his positioning, but the Drake being restarted, this time by Vanir. With no jungler around, they should be able to take it for free.
Oof, this was a big whiff here by Fourth Wall this past minute or so. Not bueno from that, not bueno.
I mean, you were absolutely happy as Vanir to take any kind of end of that trade, and Forful managed to find option C and just TP Gragas to top while Vanir was still in the position to contest. Like, if you just allowed the Darius to get a couple of plays on top lane, make sure you at least get one trade on bot, and then send the Gragas top, that would have been perfect, right? There are losing situations you could have, right? But they managed to choose option C and just lose everything on the map. This is the best thing they could get, but if they commit, you have to think they're not in a position to win a fight yet.
So they will instead just take the 2 plates, unable to get the third. It is something back. We have to be honest that the tag almost ties up the goal. You're still almost 12,000 behind. But it is something back, able to use the Herald before the timer runs out as well on the plates. So happy with that in the end. A small win here for Fourth Wall, as it is still Vanir in control of the game. Are they happy with how this laning phase has somewhat ended? 14 minutes in, 2-0 on Liam Cole's Tristana. So far so good for Vanir, right?
100%.
Ooh.
I would be so comfortable as Vanir going into the later stages of the game.
It, right?
Yeah, I
the,
was
the
seeing
line on the left.
Yeah,
See
the line.
what? What are you seeing?
Yeah.
No, you're crazy. What are you seeing?
That's
I
it.
thought it
Don't
was
worry,
freaking
don't
this
worry.
weekend.
Don't worry, Duckling. I've got you. The fever's not that bad yet.
It's the
Oh, it's
fever.
gone!
Yeah.
Wait, why did it go? What did it
Wow.
mean?
Yeah, well, maybe
That
it
was
a
Uncle
message from,
Victor's sign.
Yeah, it was Uncle Victor.
Yes, that was the sign.
Oh,
now,
no.
the game's been going good so far, Harbo, but now is time to activate, alright? He's got his sleeper agent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There it
it's
is.
happening. It's happening.
We're shifting to the reality!
Oh no.
What is he doing to our broadcast, Uncle Victor? This is
Oh my
unbelievable.
god. How has this infiltration happened? This has
Yeah.
happened at a World Championships level. Now he's upped his game and managed to infiltrate the NLC, the highest state of competition in all of League of Legends. How? I don't get it. Okay, we've changed reality. Tristana's managed to get the full tower on bot lane. Don't think she got every single plate, but she at least got 3 or 4 of them. First tower for them. I want to see how they play now, because you can play hard with tempo. If they wanted to, they could drop their their jungle support on towards top lane and just play hard for that tower and have really good access to the Herald. It looks like they want to just go mid though, because the Braum has already showed mid. It's already a 2v situation, and they know Darius can naturally get pressure topside on its own, so why not make sure we have pressure on mid, and then this Herald surely will be ours, short of any interferences by Dark Forces.
Those Dark Forces have shown a little bit today, but I don't think it will be enough to stop Vanir from taking this, especially if they set up a trap here. Garfield hits the hook.
Yeah, Garfield does hit the hook. Molto forced to fetch away.
Oh, that's good.
Throw back. Yeah, Garfield now the one in trouble. That's a big glacial fissure. And instantly, 2 members of Vanir are deleted. Liam Cole being one of them. And that's massive. Now they will chase on towards Harpo. Uncle Victor paying dividends here as Vanir forced to run from the fight. It is Jude unable to chase them down, but the summoners have been forced. The fight has been won, and Fourth Wall are very happy with that one.
That was brilliant. Like you thought you caught Molto, right? You sat in that bush. It was all good stuff. Get the hook. You have to force the flash away. But honestly, the fadeaway explosive cast, like that big ultimate coming through, splitting the fight, really sealed the deal for Fourth Wall there and put Vanir in the bin. Great stuff for Fourth Wall,
Molto?
getting 2 kills and getting the Herald and Pip at.
Who's winning this? I think this definitely Fourth Wall wants to take the fight. Vanir back off.
Yeah, for sure.
Victor's af. He ain't going for this one.
Umath, indeed. You just win that fight the longer it goes, because suddenly Victor has to auto attack, and that makes him quite useless. But again, what we were saying before in the game, Vanir do have a winning composition if they play slow. The issue of champions like Fresh, with champions like Vi, champions like Darius, is the tendency is to play fast, Tristana included. And they fell into that tendency, and Forful were more than happy to take that fight. They lost the first fight that Garfield opened with a catch, but that was because they were at a huge numbers disadvantage, and Vanir were coming out of every single angle. In that one, the ease of execution, Foxdrop's favourite phrase, was on the side of Forful, and they could absolutely win that fight. And they'll win that fight every time if Vanir choose to play like this.
I think I said that phrase once, and you guys have quoted it 3 or 4 times. So actually,
What
you
phrase?
guys love that phrase. Maybe I just put the old earworm into your brains there, because that. Tell me I'm wrong though. Ease of execution is what it's all about, isn't it? Like you just press buttons, and if you press buttons and it's easy, then then you're done, sorted, and that's just League of Legends in a nutshell. Here comes another engage.
Yeah, Pivot jukes the initial engage, now he re-engages.
Oh,
and they want
my
to get Monster
goodness.
yet again, but you're just inside the meat grinder of Ragnar. It is Vanir able to take down two, but Ragnar's still alive, flashes forward for his second of the fight. Now though, Katana, he finds them all, Liam Cole still full HP, but it's simply not enough. He baited his own team, that's the triple kill for Ragnar. It's a one fight yet again for fourth wall, they get one back, Liam Cole, the last member standing as Genrace forces out his flash.
So a significant advantage on the carries being used to only make fights barely even, if that. Suddenly, Lissandra and Aphelios, they're doing so well. Zinzao lasting so long here. But again, Vanir are like, we maybe have a catch here. Why not do it instead of just let's lay down our damage, let's get a lot of DPS in, and then clean up later. They're approaching these fights all wrong. Whereas 4-4, they're approaching the fights the only way that their champions can approach these fights. And it's paying dividends. Even such a massive drag by Kitano was not enough to set up stuff for Liam Cole. Ute living for far too long here, Ute, I'm sorry. But ultimately, that is a 4-4 win on that fight, second fight in a row. Look at these numbers. You have to think comfort, all on the side of 4-4, all on the side of Witter, and all thanks to that one man, the myth, the legend, the guy who cost Faker Game 5 against DRX, Uncle Victor.
Uncle Victor, man. I mean...
Oh, man.
It was yet again another great up and also, he knocked Harbo straight into the waiting hands, and Ragnar being placed over the wall, he was completely safe, nothing hurt him in the entire fight. So it was really just an all-round perfect situation there for fourth wall. And
it was the same thing. It was another fight, exactly like the same fight. It was the same thing where Vanir think they've caught Molto, they engage and throw everything at him. At first it was the thresh hook right around the Rift Herald, and this time it was via ulti. Molto just in his dying breath throws out this explosive cast and just catches people out of position, and it's brilliant stuff, and it actually ends up being a great fight for fourth wall. So really nicely executed by them there, and they'll be certainly happy with that. You can see Jim Rays, I honestly in that lane phase, Harbo was just taking him to town. It was not very pretty, and really good stuff by Harbo. Like I think I was really impressed with how he was playing that lane. I think he had way more control than he really should have done. But you can now see that comfort coming through from Jim Rays on this Lissandra, like the way he's playing these team fights, these little mechanical things that he's doing and the angles he's finding. It's really making a big difference for fourth wall, and he's out of the lane phase now, so he doesn't have to worry. The big scary man Harbo, he can't hurt you anymore. So you're thriving, you're in your element here. Lissandra is now popping off, she's activated, and she's got 2 full items, including that stopwatch, which will make her even harder to kill on those engages.
And with that, there is yet another Drake up on the map, something that we've seen thought about both times that it has spawned. Vanir need to shift their focus. I think that is a fair point to say on who they target in the fights. 2 very scary carries now for fourth wall, especially Ragnar.
Look at the flank from Jinade. Oh gosh.
Yeah, you can look for this. Could definitely get it, but maybe he will just get targeted down instead. The miss from PB Bat, and now he's down to half before the fight even starts in the front line. Harbo! What? Uncle Victor still doing the pullback now on Molto though. Can they get the damage on him? No, the turret doesn't do enough to help them, but maybe they could turn this around. Ragnar will fall for sure though, but not before. He's taking out pretty much the entirety of Vanir. It's yet another one fight for fourth wall where they find 4 and only lose 1.
It's slowly learning. Yep, sorry, go on, Foxtrot.
I mean, what are they learning that Vanir are crazy? Is that what you're going to say?
They're slowly going through the champions they can't possibly engage on. They can't do it on the Gragas, they can't do it on the Braum, and now they know they can never ever do it towards the Lissandra. Feed people on top of Lissandra for ages at the cost of their own Victor, and Lissandra lived through the entire fight, basically gifted her a 3-man engage. The composition from 4-4 was designed to split up Vanir, but Vanir, in trying to figure out how to win a 5-on-5, are splitting themselves up and giving 4-4 all the ability to use their lockdown, to use their burst, to immediately make their fight a numbers advantage whenever they want. How many more people do they have to try this to before they realise this isn't how we want to play the games? We're not supposed to just hard engage, we're supposed to get DPS, play of our range, the enemy surely can't engage on us, we should be good then.
And the 3rd game in a row, I'm going to say, it feels as though advantages are being drawn not from a singular team being proactive and getting advantages for themselves, but from the other team throwing advantages in their faces, right? Like, I just think that's kind of been the story of today. Like, and in this game specifically, it's Vanir who've been engaged in these fights, and it's not working at all. We could have a Baron on our hands ridiculously early here, 22 minutes in the game.
Let's see though, PBBet is in the area, so Vanir could look for the steal. Fourth wall, do you want to flip the game? You only have a 2,000 gold lead. Despite the last couple fights going well, it is not done yet. Molto, yet again, the one they are targeting. Here comes Jinrace getting fired. No, the teamwork isn't quite there. Jinrace tries to get the engage, but Molto just split them up with the explosive. PBBet on the back line with the flank. Good look to guide on to Ragnar, but Molto blocking nicely. Flash forward, and they want to secure the jungler here. The Lantern not quite in time, and it is somehow still fourth wall winning the fight, despite the mishaps of how they wanted to engage. Back on the Baron they go.
You still have the ultimate up on the Lissandra. The Aphelios Swift his actually didn't land on anyone, and that made me feel that the fight could be playable, where they did find the kill on Pipibat. Right now, all eyes on Jinrei. That is the guy who's looking to make the big play!
Here comes the hand. Yeah, they want it now, though. The fight fully exploding as it is. Ute in the front line, soaking up with the Crescent Guard. Jinrei's low, Chimera low, but luckily for Jinrei, he can TP back in. They might still want to go for the Baron here, but with PBBet respawning, they would rather reset yet again. Don't flip it, just take the kills, take the wins, and back off.
Gosh, just sloppy. It's just sloppy here from, honestly, both teams. Like, I think that fourth wall engage was not good at all. That was not bueno. They started up the Baron, and then they turned around. And I thought they were going to lose that fight for sure. Like, I thought, as Vanir mentioned, like with the Aphelios whiffing and then with that Grag assault, it did split everyone up, but it wasn't really in fourth wall's favour. It didn't really seem to do too much, and I thought Vanir could maybe have that comeback, but Molto's waiting. He's waiting. Can he bomba? I don't think he can, but he's going to try and go for it instead, and that was thoroughly disappointing and not worth the build-up whatsoever. But yeah, okay.
Happens.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is. I love reading the ancients and the classics. They also say don't die of a Gragas Lissandra born, but you know, these kids, they don't.
If it wasn't in a TikTok, we don't want to hear it.
They read modern patch notes, you know.
Maybe get some mission in there, Vanir, guys. They are on it now. They have it, but PBBet is not able to get close enough so far. 3k and dropping. He's kicked out again. Yeah, this is just Baron gone. Vanir doesn't even contest it.
That was good. That was really, really good. Fourth wall finding that opportunity, finding their window, their moment to take it. Obviously having a lot of damage with Aphelios. And peeling with the Grag Salty too. But I like this response from Vanir. Just keep pushing down mid. You've got Tristana. Put the bomb on the tower. Attack it. I think this is really smart here. This is making the best out of all.
How do you miss the pullback with the upper hand? And now Ragnar just able to flash out and he's safe.
Bruh.
They're almost there. They just
They need to stop diving. Like, if they're diving, I never feel like they're almost there. I feel like they're definitely not there at all. Like, every attempt like that is not going to work out. These cooldowns have to be to re-engage or even to be played defensively. Just let Victor poke. That's the real reason why you can make a meme off of this champion.
Oh, Kitano is taking pretty low. Ragnar is absolutely shredding PBBet. This is not the fight you want. It's a 4v5 and you're losing it heavily. Jinrace is coming in to assassinate your backline here as well. But he can't even make it before two of them has already gone. Now Jinrace looking for more. Liam Cole forced to flash in fourth wall. In control. They will be dominating this game, you have to feel now. There's just no way for Vanir to play the fights. They can't find them.
This Harbour recall gets stopped. Oh my goodness. This sucks. This sucks big time here for Vanir. His guy, oh my goodness, another recall interrupted here. Molto is just doing nasty.
Is that blind?
It's the TP instead. Oh, and he's gonna get the kill as well. It's all, oh my goodness, that is just Molto with a really smart play right there. His goal wasn't even to get a kill, and he still manages to find one. He blew the TP from Harbour as well. Like Harbour was like, I'm not going to be able to recall here. I can't do it. This Gragas is just hounding me down. I'm gonna have to blow that TP instead. And gosh, that was really good to get the mid inhibs down as well, which should be able to set up for future Dragon plays. As it looks like that's exactly what fourth wall are now barreling down the map to do.
If I'm fresh, I'm not mentally recovering from that one, to be honest. Fully understand that we have technical difficulties in a few seconds. I also believe that was blind, no? That he
It was,
literally
yeah.
didn't-
Blind.
Yeah.
Body slam in the bush. I think he thought Victor was in the bush, funnily enough. We found someone else.
Yeah.
He's gone.
There's another one being found as well. Kitana, unfortunately for him, not had a fun game whatsoever.
Jesus
Darius
Christ.
pick outside the lane phase. Not really that useful if you haven't been able to bully your way through against this Gragas.
I mean, this is a slaughter. They're being absolutely dominated. Wow.
I know someone who's having fun this game. His name begins with a U, ends in LOL, and has Victor in the middle. That's how you get the mansions, boys.
Honestly,
Genuinely, the reason why you can make memes off of a champion like this is because it requires a specific kind of patient playstyle that when you're in the moment, right, and you have the adrenaline going and you think you see an opportunity, you're just not going to adhere to that kind of a playstyle, right? It requires a very specific kind of patience from everybody involved, or the champion, it just takes too much setup to be able to utilize properly, right? He has a lot of good disengage. He can extend fights as long as he wants, but if your team's not interested in extending those fights, then you yourself don't really have a function.
Let's see what happens now. It feels like just one more fight is all Fourth Wall need to win the game. I mean, if we're looking at silver linings for Vanir right now, Liam Cole is at 3 items. He could do something, I guess. 2.5 now on Harbour as well. But I'm really grasping for straws. This is rough.
It's difficult, and I think what makes it tough is like Tristana will probably end this game without having any meaningful impact in these fights. Like she might pick up a few stragglers or whatever, and if someone's just jumped in really far. But it's like, how does Tristana, a champion that ideally wants to kind of bundle in a bit and get those resets, influence team fights where you cannot go within like 10 meters of a lot of these characters? Obviously, Tristana does have some good range scaling with her levels, so she is going to get that to her advantage, and hopefully that will be able to carry her in these fights, because so far she's not been able to find anything.
I honestly don't know what Vanir do now. Did they just go in and try and press ult on Ragnar again? I mean, does that work? What is
If
the
they're
plan?
talking about these plans, that's also why they're losing this. You can't just... That's the thing. Like, now, at this point, I think they've kind of lost, right? At this point, it's really difficult for them to walk up, because 4-4 will just hard engage on them. 4-4 can afford to trade some HP because they have so much damage on this Aphelios now that they can afford to just give their lives to set up a fight for him. Vanir, they just kind of want to wave play and wait for 4-4 to mess up.
They want Ragnar. The shield
Same
hasn't
for
been
fight.
taken off him. They get you down to half though. But now they're in
Wow.
trouble. Dash forward from Ragnar. He's feeling himself as Kitano is forced to run, but it's Vanir so far who finds the first kill of the fight. Kitano is still alive for a couple seconds longer, healing up a bit. But as the inhibitor falls, so does Kitano. Fourth wall. Might still have a life left in this game, but they need to find it now. Only Nexus Church stands between fourth wall and their third win off the split. They could tie up the scoreline, keep themselves in the playoff race. They just need to take these Nexus Church. One already gone. Garfield now stepping up. Chimera soaking up the damage. Continuing to dish it out is Ragnar. He's hitting up on the side of Pivat, and he's just taken down instantly. The turret just a couple autos away from falling, but no one can touch Ragnar. He does not care. He gets thrown away by Liam Cole, but to no avail. Vanir have no way out to safety. The game is done, and it's all on the back of Ragnar and the rest of fourth wall, who confidently pick up that third win off the split.
A few stragglers at the end, as you said. That's probably what Tristana will be able to find, and that's all she got. Tough game, honestly, tough game for Vanir there, but I have to say that was really, really well done. Very, very impressive stuff from Fourth Wall.
Come at me, boys.
I'm good Victor MVP, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, you know where to
Victor
spend your
MVP.
money with her. That's all I know. That's all I know, right? You know where to spend...
How are you feeling, Victor? Are you happy with that? I can sense it in your aura. It has changed since you've come back. You're feeling I can say? Yeah, come on.
The
Where
king
is
is
this? I
the
got
the
it,
king
I
is
got it.
back. The king is back. That's all I'm gonna say. Smash the predictions.
Hey.
But yeah, I mean, this is actually like fantastic, right? I think this kind of showcases like, unironically, what this 4-4 team is very good at, right? They have not with the new AD carry coming in Ragnar, and it seems like it's been a swap that has been for the better of the both parties, right? Because Blink looks absolutely amazing and dominant with a 1-game sample size, and Ragnar looks really good on this 4-4 roster.
He definitely does.
Aphelios. I thought you meant to be nerfed, bro.
I guess not.
Yeah, I mean, there are only so many times I can see a Vi go straight on top of an Aphelios while the Aphelios has white gun combos and just gift him about 500 billion trillion shurikens and be like, what? How is this guy so broken? Like, yeah, he basically is unnerved if you're going to play every single fight like that, you know? Also, there's something to be said, Liam Cole not on the Aphelios anymore, theoretically off of comfort. They did have a pretty good laning phase, right? But when it came to the team fights, it did feel like the rest of the team wasn't playing to what their carries really intended to be doing in those fights. Definitely, it felt like Forfall struggled more this game than they did in their previous games, including the game against Verdant, right? They were basically winning that game right up until the point that they lost.
Classic Skara
but-
quote.
Yeah.
Yes. Another one of the great ancient classical philosophers of our time. That's a contradiction. But ultimately, we're still at a point where you've won every game on Aphelios, and you've lost every game where you're not on Aphelios. So is it really about Liam Cole's prowess because he played well this game, or is it about the team understands how to play with a AD carry that can do basically everything in the game? And when we have more specific win cons, the team kind of falls apart? That seems to be what it's like right now.
But doesn't Tristan and Aphelios kind of fit the same gameplay pattern in this like hyper-scaling, hyper-carry to a certain extent? Or am I just tripping here? Because your face looks very confusing to me, Veteran, so I'm gonna go to Fuck Shop instead because I don't want to get blamed.
Crap, yeah, I thought I was all going to him now. I was like, nah, I think, I mean, I guess to a certain extent, obviously, Tristan's scaling is always really nice because you've got an attack speed steroid and loads of range coming through and you get levels too. So certainly, yeah, I think they fill some different niches, but I don't think Tristan is like a terrible option in that as well. I'm curious though, as now taking it away from like that game specifically, looking at like more broader scenes here for the NLC standings. Like fourth wall now at 3 wins brings them tied with Vanir. Like they're not bottom anymore, and they avoided Unique's fate here as being the bottom feeders of the league. I didn't think I'd be saying this, but like I think fourth will might actually be looking to push a playoff spot this split. They're not looking too bad at all.
It is.
Yeah.
No, they actually looked really good. And honestly, even though that TP play was weird, that's one of those easy things you can talk
sucked.
about in terms of when it came to was he feeding the Darius? No. Was he playing the fights well? Yes. Does he have hands? Yes. The Molto substitute back in was a good substitute back in. These guys need to get a little bit more on as 5. And honestly, you're right. I'd be worried if I'm Nord thinking, do I really need to tiebreak with these guys? Do I really want them to be in a situation where they could potentially contest with a playoff spot? Because that playoff spot could very well be under contest very fast in the coming few weeks.
Yeah, and let's hear from the man in the support role, Chimera, who is on the line here with us. So after a couple of not so fun interviews for a while to start off the first round robin, Chimera, these last few ones have been pretty good for you, I'd say, right? You're coming on in swinging to the second round robin.
Yeah, I mean, it always sucks when you're losing. But I mean, when I last spoke to you when we were losing, we've just had so many issues of sub. I mean, we're still having issues having to have like people sub in, people leaving, not being able to play. So, I mean, we're still kind of in the same boat of like the scrims not really being able to scrim as much or having all these subs. But I think you've got kind of a core now already. Like we've got Utes, Ginrays, and me, and then Ragnar's been the latest like core addition. So it's been slowly just teaching them concepts and getting them up to speed. And I think now, even though we're getting people subbed in, as long as we have that core, it's still working. So yeah, it feels better, these interviews.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's great because I think that it's been a very clear thing when you looked at Jinray's performances after he's been subbing in, that he has been a super solid addition to your guys' roster here. And I think that you as well now, showcasing that you can play some different times as well, right? Like, I think this is the first time you played Braum this split, right? You guys tend to be very good at these like anti-dive combos, and also something you had success with last week, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I mean, I think like Braum, I don't think is really a sort of champ I'm traditionally comfort with. I think I'm always prefer playing something with agency, but I think, you know, if you're locking in Vi, Tristana 1-2 and we've got an Aphelios, then it's kind of a no-brainer just like smacking the Braum. I think even in the draft they were hovering the Lulu because you want to counter the Braum, but then you're playing, you know, Tristana Lulu bot lane, so they had to go for the Fresh in the ends. And I just think our comp was like really broken. Like I think it's really hard for enemy's team to play into it if we're playing correctly, and we had a bit of a fumble around the Drake, but that was just miscomms, so happens.
Yeah, so I guess that comes as another issue that kind of can arise when you guys have had such a changing team sheet that you've had, right? Because comms is something that you develop over time, like relations, right? So is that something that you guys are looking to hone in on even further now that you guys have more of a stable team sheet again?
Yeah, I mean, I think like there's not really the traditional, like you have one person making a call or anything anymore. Like that system is kind of outdated. So like just like you said, like trying to get everyone on the same page and like their communication rows has been a bit of a challenge, but I think we're slowly getting there. And like even though it's top lane subbing in, like top lane such a isolated row from I think the rest of the team is top lane, so it wasn't as bad. Like I mean, it looked like silly the TP, but it's like such an easy fix to change. But yeah, I mean, it's getting there one step at a time, and maybe if we didn't have such a disastrous start of the split, it'd be a bit easier to get into playoffs. But I mean, as long as we do our best and we're improving and make a bit run to the end, then it is what it is.
Yeah, and I think that will be the close note of this interview, because I want to get you back to your guys to talk through and prepare for tomorrow as you try to charge for a 2-0 week.
Sorry, what was the question? Sorry.
There was no question. I just said get back to your guys as well. You
right.
prepare
Cheers,
to charge for the 2-0 week.
Okay, thanks.
What was the question?
He's just in defense mode, right? Like to be fair, right after the start of the season, the fourth wall had. To be fair, right, I feel like having to put up that wall and he's like just ready to prepare for anything. I think that's kind of.
You broke down his fourth wall.
Yeah, I did. I mean, that's why like I'm trying to reach out to like get to you. I'm trying to reach out to you. Yeah. The fourth wall is still yeah. Yeah.
Are we holding hands now? What is going on here?
I'm trying to break the wall to you, but my hand is not showing.
I think we've already broken the wall. As like this beautiful Danish flag now just between us. To keep us separated. Regardless, I mean, Kamara had a really good game. I was really happy to see him Smith. I still remember the juke on the Viking.
Yeah, the right juke, that was good.
That was absolutely insane. It was pixel perfect. You can definitely see, he's been used to being targeted back when he was a mid lane and all that. I guess that's, the benefits of role swapping. Because the support would normally not find themselves getting targeted that hard. But Kamara, he's been in the shoes before as a mid laner. He knows he needs to be ready for everything. And I mean, he was ready for everything. It was a really good fourth wall game. After the first game I saw a fourth wall at the beginning of the split, the improvement has definitely been there. And if we continue that, I agree with the sentiment we've been, talking about after the game, that they could actually make a late charge for the playoffs place if they manage to keep this up. Because they are definitely growing, they're getting better. And I'm excited to see what they stop.
I'm checking their remaining schedule because, like, some of it, like, at this stage, right, with basically 2 full weeks left, a lot of it is going to come down to strength of schedule, right? They face Unique tomorrow. That should actually be really doable. They face Nord, who are the guys that they absolutely have to beat if they want to be claiming the last playoff spot on Tuesday. So if they have a lot of momentum from this win and from the win tomorrow, I really do see them being favoured against Nord there on the Tuesday next week. And then after that, they go into natives, right? And that, surely, as much faith as we have in them, and obviously as good as they looked in towards Verdant, they're much more scoutable now. Verdant kind of met the new roster for the first time, right? So I'd still assume that would be a natives win. But it feels like they have the momentum in the critical matches that they absolutely need to win to be contesting for that spot.
If they start beating like Nord and Ruddy, then all of a sudden, as you're not talking about, they're directly in that contention spot, and I think that's
yeah.
And this is the thing, because like we were also kind of talking about like who are going to finish bottom of the league, right? That was like, okay, it's 4-4, they don't look good, but are we looking towards Vanir? Are we looking towards Unique now instead, right? That's the big question, Foxtrot.
I think the biggest problem that I know I have with the City is the fact that they still haven't won without the Aphelios. It's just
that's actually wacky, isn't it? That's wacky
weird.
After the nerfs, like they're still relying on Aphelios to
win.
We're
more than halfway throughout the split, and you haven't won a game without Aphelios. Even though some of your wins have looked really good, and Liam Cole has been really good, it has only been on the Aphelios. I don't know. Maybe it's a mental thing now. Regardless, it's very easy to draft against a team if you just either first pick the Aphelios away or ban it and you win. If that's all it needs to take to beat Vanir, they are in serious trouble. But if they find another way, I still believe in the 5 players on the roster being good enough at League of Legends to make a challenge for the playoff place. They just need to get that puzzle pieces together, because at the moment, it can't just be a one-brick puzzle that is Aphelios or lose.
No. Yeah, and I mean, you never want to be a one-trick team like that, and I'm sure Liam Cole doesn't like being talked about in that way, right? Whereas, as if it is the only champion you can play, he had a good performance on Tristana today. It definitely just feels like a Philios, because it's a champion that does almost everything. It can shift in towards almost any kind of team comp. Maybe it just gives his team as a whole more freedom. It really should be the other roles that we're looking at there to be stepping up.
But
Maybe just have simpler game plan.
Let's talk about the man that with the plan, Hepscore, the coach of Vanir, and try to. I don't know how much of the discussions about your draft strategies that you heard from our analysts here, but no failures, no
I think I
win.
heard a lot of it.
Okay, so you heard it all. So you kind of heard that.
Yeah.
So let's try to like take that context for now and try to break it into the interview here, right? So B1 affiliates, to nerf the affiliates as well. Were you guys expecting that to be like the first pick of the draft coming through from Fall?
Like, I'm not really sure if we could say like we expected it, but it was not like a thing that surprised us. I think the real mistake we made in draft was like not being aware enough about the way we wanted to play the game. And yeah, I kind of forgot about, kind of forgot about champions, but also play styles. And I think we locked ourselves into a way of playing the game that we were not really used to and not really suited us against the way that they are playing the game. So I think like that's kind of a mistake on like at least me as a coach. So it's like a drafting mistake, and I think that's kind of sad, to be honest, because I think the player couldn't show a lot more if I gave them the chance, right? So I think that's annoying, but I think like it's not the affiliates thing. I think there was other problems in the draft, to be honest.
So your team not necessarily suited for, let's say, these heavier dive compositions, for example.
Like I think the team is suited for it, but it's also like we play against things like Lissandra and
Braun.
Stuff like that, and Gregor's also like we know that they were playing things like that. So I think like it's a problem from our side that drafting early engage versus that is kind of like giving yourself a hard time in the game. So yeah, I think that was it's a mistake that cost us the game, and I'm really sad about that.
Yeah, obviously that's rough. So what are your thoughts on your match tomorrow here, and then trying to get at least a 1-1 week here with the start with the okay, let's redo that one again here, because I'm kind of falling here. So what do you think about your chances tomorrow then? Because again, that's kind of like where you gotta start looking now. Is that I gotta start looking forward.
Yeah. Well, I think the match tomorrow is going to be hard, but I don't think it's going to be impossible. It's going to be like us stepping up, thinking about like what they're going to do and what we want to do in the game, and showing the best we can play tomorrow. So I think we have a chance to do something there, but yeah, we need to step up, right?
You said that. I'm just gonna say thank you so much for your time, Hipscore. Get back to your guys and work out the game plan for tomorrow.
Thank you. Have a good day.
And with that, we're going to throw to a short break before the final match of this day of NLC action, so don't go anywhere.